Yes, I know I've been gone for a month, okay? I need my mental health break. Also, I need a therapist. Happy birthday to me! Actually, today is not my birthday. Not when I'm recording this, when I'm releasing this. My usual schedule of release a video on Sundays isn't exactly gonna work today, but you know, I'll try. My birthday is July 8th, by the way. And as a birthday gift to me, I've decided to watch every movie that is released on my birthday, to the best of my ability. Yeah, finding release dates is very complex. By the way, some fun facts about this day. July 8th is David Cornsford's birthday, the new Superman, which comes out in a week. So I guess he's like the 4th most famous person born today, besides from Jaden Smith and How to Basic and me. Baby, you're the best. We're starting with the 10th James Bond film, Roger Moore's most iconic and an absolute banger, The Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah, even with my contrarian opinions on James Bond, this is just a damn good movie. And I know technically it was released on July 7th for the first initial release, so I shouldn't count it, but in the UK it was released on July 8th, and that's the birthplace of James Bond, so I'm counting it, okay? I was planning to make a James Bond film retrospective video, but it turned out pretty shit, so I'm probably not gonna do that. To be fair, it's probably due to the fact that I barely scripted it, so perhaps one day I could do that just with a script this time. Although looking at the recording, it's close to an hour, so if I wrote a scripted version, it'll probably be 90 minutes, so that would destroy my mental health. Anyways, the film starts with the ever iconic pre-titles. Oh, what's this? I don't want to focus on these guys, they're not James Bond. Anyways, this is where the iconic ski action sequence comes from, with the impressive choreography and excellent direction. Like, look at that backflip, that was so unnecessary, but damn does it look cool. Although I swear this spy looks like George Lazenby. Maybe this is a way of shitting on his movie, because, well, he's kicked out immediately. And the iconic mountain jump and awesome stunt that Tom Cruise is still 40 years late. Hey, I'm gonna talk about that. And your Union Jack parachute, beautiful. And not only is the transition into and from the title sequence is excellent, but the actual sequence is superb. The Bond song here, Nobody Does It Better, is one of my favorites of the whole series. I'm not really a music guy, so I can't really tell why I like it, but it's so smooth and seductive and slow. Just an amazing love ballad. A perfect fit for this film. I love the dynamic between Bond and Anya as well. Their first introduction is great when Anya says the traditional order, and love this scene to not only show the chemistry of the two leads, but also shows the connective through line of the Bond films with the mention of Bond's deceased wife. Although I don't really know why he doesn't get more worried by the fact that she knows very personal facts about his life, even though he's like a covert spy. Well, I'm not a spy. That's what a spy would say. But if someone said this stuff to me, I'd be like, utter one more syllable and I'll have you killed. I love that Bond says his James Bond line, but like, since he's in disguise, he uses a different name. That's just the small details I love.
My name is Sterling, Robert Sterling.
Yeah, and he's just such a nice gentleman who feeds people to his shark. How come every other Bond villain is associated with sea life? I guess all marine biologists are evil, I guess. And this film hits heavy with that theme. Underwater base, villain liking anything fish related, henchmen literally called Jaws. Oh wait, that sounds familiar. Yeah, Bond films before Daniel Craig tend to react to what's new. And in The Spy Who Loves Me's case, just this new small indie film called Jaws, with this like rookie small director Steven Spielberg. I've never heard of him. Definitely never heard of him. Definitely didn't make a video about one of his films. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Please watch it. It's my birthday. Don't watch that video. Actually, I don't like it. And I love this little guitar string version of Nobody Does It Better used as a leitmotif throughout the whole movie. Love when they incorporate the Bond song into the music.
Would you like me to try it? Women drivers.
Damn, is that so fucking funny how calm Bond is here and how he's just so snarky. Once we get our fun car chase that will inevitably end with the car being destroyed, which is a very fun scene. And the reveal of the helicopter is just so cool, such great direction. It looks like it's actually done for real, no CGI of any sort. I love that. And I love the practical effects and set design. And our duo goes into the submarine and gets captured by an overly obsessed marine biologist into one of the coolest looking bases I've ever seen. It looks so great, and it was apparently all practical. And the action and spy espionage is just great overall. Like, we have a scene with Bond infiltrating the villain's base, and it's just so fun and exhilarating. The escalation of action and the plans to blow up the place is excellent. This also involves Bond activating a bomb on the wall to escape, which is just so cool. They even play a Bond theme here. I love that. Also, as Bond is having a conversation with the villain, this is just the stupidest gun I've seen in my life. It's just a long barrel that spans across a dining table that shoots James Bond's balls. This won't be the first time his future children will be be in jeopardy though. And then they both escape in the safety boat. Jaws just escapes and swims safely, okay. And then it ends with Bond and Anya banging, of course, and then playing the Bond song. And even they know this was a banger since they played at the end. The Spy Who Loved Me is the quintessential Bond classic and ever iconic for a reason. 8 out of 10, such a fantastic movie.
Say that again?
Now, don't kill me, but Fantastic Four is probably my biggest blind spot in my knowledge of pop culture. I'm not gonna pat myself too hard on the back. Ow, mostly because it hurts, but I'm way too knowledgeable about everything unimportant. So I could pretty much identify any nerdy thing in a conversation, but it is honestly hard for me to even name all the Fantastic Four members before this. That's how bad my knowledge of Fantastic Four was. This doesn't help the fact that there's a new film coming out, which is about 3 weeks away from when I released this. So I really had no idea what I was getting myself into watching this, and now watching it, yeah, it's pretty good, but it definitely feels like a 2000 superhero origin film in the likes of Spider-Man or X-Men. This is about Reed, Sue, Ben, and Johnny becoming a family after gaining powers from an explosion in space. I don't really have much to say about this film. It's just a pretty charming and fun watch.
Do drugs.
Although, I'm not a comic reader, but Doctor Doom is so lame. I really didn't expect a love triangle between Reed, Sue, and Victor out of all people. And it's just there, and it's not good at all. And also, Victor Von Doom is just a broke CEO.
You know I can turn this around?
Well, you're going to have to, Victor, or we pull out.
You know how much I sacrificed?
This is the guy that's supposed to destroy universes. He can't even manage a multi-million-dollar company. And then this is the part where comic readers come at me being like, well, actually, in the comics, Doctor Doom is able to... Yeah, I get it. I get it. He's powerful, but I'm just saying in this movie, he literally just gets cucked and then tries to kill him for it. This guy is so fucking petty. And when he's in prison, he's just stuck in a cargo crate. Shouldn't you put him in something stronger? I don't know. Maybe in Doomsday, they just throw a cargo hold at Doctor Doom and that's how they end the movie. Although I am glad the billionaire is the main villain of the film. It's always a great message. Also, I think if some guy had the last name Doom, I think we would all keep him from power until he dies, okay? I'm just saying.
Mr. Von Doom, are you okay?
Never better, Jim.
The only actor I recognized was Chris Evans. He looks so fun playing Johnny. Although the entire film is just a fantastical fighting with each other, and it makes it weird when the film's conclusion is about them as a family. I'm not really given a proper engaging reason on why they should be together, but okay. Perhaps it's due to being discriminated against due to their powers similar to X-Men, but by the end they're just praised for saving the world, so what's the message here? I just realized the Fox both had Fantastic Four and X-Men. How did they get railed so hard by Disney? They had 2 money-making Marvel properties. It's probably the biggest fumble in history thinking about it.
You know, you can't fall down the stairs if you're already at the bottom. Oh my god,
A pretty good film, but does have issues. 7 out of 10. It still feels very nostalgic, oddly enough, even though I've never seen this before. But I'm still gonna watch First Steps, by the way, so let's hope it's good. First of all, I've already watched Inception, so this will be fun. But at the same time, I don't think I have a lot to say, as everyone has already said everything about Inception, Christopher Nolan, and I don't think I can really add much insight or comedy. Mostly comedy. So this will be brief. Good. I have to edit this video in a month. This is Nolan's most fantastical film he's made yet, and I think he should experiment more with the supernatural side of What? He made another supernatural sci-fi film? Tenet? Oh, yeah, we don't talk about that one. So much of the imagery in this film is beautiful. There's a reason we go, it looks like Inception when there's some cool mind-bending, defying gravity set pieces. I also love heist films and fantasy films, and this combines both elements beautifully with people incepting other people's dreams. Also, thanks to Shafe, I kinda see this as a Persona movie. Heist by entering people's subconscious. So, Atlas, I think you might have some lawsuits. There's a moving hallway fight sequence, and there's a reason it's iconic. I just have a kink of gravity-defying fight sequences where characters have to fight on the walls, on the roofs, and any orientation is just unusual, okay? I absolutely love these scenes. Cillian Murphy gives such a great performance, and it's just funny seeing him in pretty much every single Christopher Nolan movie. Although, as much as I've glazed in this movie, this isn't like my favorite Nolan movie, and it's not perfect. I find the film very aimless at many points for a majority of it, and the characters are written well, but I never find myself being hooked on any character except for Cillian Murphy's. Also, there's a random chase sequence that kind of just seems a studio mandate idea to stop the average movie watcher from being bored, mostly due to it feeling out of place and feels like someone else directed this scene. Also, the editing in Nolan films can be really funny at some points. Like, I'm sorry, but there's this emotional sequence that's integral to the plot, but looking back, the editing makes it so funny.
Look at me! Oh no! Jesus!
Looks like I edited this for the joke. Besides that, Don's character development is really good, and I love how they write his character motivation around the Incepting plotline. This movie is still great and already widely acclaimed, even if it has issues in my opinion. So 8.5 out of 10. Zookeeper is basically just Madagascar and all its clones but in live action and way worse. Either that or a vastly less interesting version of Night at the Museum. This all makes it part of that really weird live action talking animal movie they were obsessed with in the 2000s and early 2010s. The plot is basically Kevin James's character learning how to rizz up his ex-girlfriend from animals. Yeah, that's the plot. I'm not even sugarcoating it. For a comedy film, the comedy is just...
Get your girl, that's how you're gonna get your girl, yeah, that's how you get a girl, that's how you get a girl.
Not, which is like the one thing I was hoping for at least. Most of the comedy is just Kevin James learning how to rizz up a girl from mating animal techniques, but like, none of it's funny at all. It's just haha, he's like an animal, oh my god, he's like a furry, shoot me, persona! They literally have a he's right behind me, isn't he joke. I just... No! And the reveal of the talking animals to Kevin James is just so anticlimactic. Comparing this to Night at the Museum, Ben Stiller had such an incredible reveal of the whole museum being alive, and it's just overall a more interesting concept. I kind of like the subplot with the gorilla, especially when Kevin James brings him to a restaurant. It was kind of funny. But I felt like even the writers couldn't use the plot too well because it's kind of just abandoned by the second half. Now, as a guy with a husband, 5 kids, and 2 grandchildren, I suck at relationships. But I'm given no reason why these two should be together besides from their previous relationship, which was like set up for like a minute. If anything, it makes it less compelling. Why would I root for a broken relationship? I get that's the point, but like it's kind of too obvious, so it's just extremely frustrating for like 90% of the film. And then suddenly Rosario Dawson, okay. And then suddenly Rosario Dawson just falls in love with Paul Blart Mall. And then suddenly Rosario Dawson just falls in love with Paul Blart. And then suddenly Rosario Dawson just falls in love with Paul Blart with one day, quote unquote. Like, there is no chemistry between them either. None of the relationships work. Then it has the basic rom-com trope of the guy breaking up with the girl he's trying to get with, runs to the girl who's about to leave to the airport, but just with a big monkey this time. This is the sort of fever dream movie I would watch as a very young kid, but then never remember until some guy on YouTube just mentions it. And then I'll go like, oh! And then immediately going back to forgetting it. Just go watch Madagascar or like Night at the Museum. They're not even like the best films of all time, but they're just significantly funnier and more interesting than this, okay?
Now you just want to kiss the ground. Just a little peck. A smooch like you're kissing your sister. I said kiss it!
3 out of 10. No. Just no. What do you want me to say? Illumination makes safe kids films and never takes any risks. What else can I add? I've already seen this twice, okay? Neither of us want this. Let's just move on already, okay? Oh, actually, before we move on, I hate the fact that all of the Despicable Me films have to release so close to my goddamn birthday. I don't need this shit near me. Hey, y'all. The Sea Beast is a Netflix animated pirate film, not a genre we see recently, just like westerns. However, it's alright. Basically an average streaming animated film. There's not actually anything terrible about this movie. If you put this in front of a child, it wouldn't be bad. It would actually be pretty good for them, but it feels painfully mid and nothing particularly original. This plot is centered upon a pirate crew being replaced by a new crew and having one last race against the clock to save one more beast. And this continues the trope of the badass, seemingly stoic character having to take care of a young child whilst on a dangerous adventure taken basically from any Pedro Pascal role. The whole movie is centered on the propaganda and war of humans and beasts, as the sea beasts are actually friendly. And it's a nice message, and I'll always promote defying against the government. I believe you should be doing that right now, but I've seen this humans befriend a seemingly evil beast before and uncovering a war. Actually, this is just how to change the dragon basically. And this does begin with one of the most extravagant and beautifully choreographed pirate ship action sequences I have ever seen. And this is pretty violent for a PG film. I love the part with our main character saving the crew, and the action, like I said, is just incredible. And then we get a scene. No, I have to resist. No. Now, Pinocchio reference inside the sea beast. And we get a twist villain? I don't even know what is considered one now, but the older, friendlier captain becomes a deranged murderer psychopath against sea beasts throughout the entire film counts, right? But he never really gets a resolution by the end of the film. Actually, none of the characters do, besides our two leads. I mean, I guess I like the relationship between Jacob, the kid, and Red, but it's pretty standard and nothing particularly outstanding. It's a basic kids anime film that you would put in front of them to let them shut the f up for once. Like, 6 out of 10. Wow, that was actually a really short one. Thor Love and Thunder is a film I have baggage and a lot of beef with. Backstory, this was when the Fire Nation... So before this film's release, Thor Ragnarok was probably one of my favorite MCU films, had some of the best comedy, such expressive action, direction, and visuals, and Taika Waititi is just such an amazing director. I haven't even seen Jojo Rabbit yet when I watched Thor Love and Thunder, but I knew he was like a reliable director. Well, that was all until the Fire Nation, and all the build up to Love and Thunder hyped me up. The trailers looked amazing, still to this day honestly. It looks like Ragnarok, a sequel to a spectacular movie. Thor with the Guardians could be just potentially just the funniest movie ever. Then to know that Christian Bale was gonna be the main villain, looking so forward to his performance. Like, I was hoping for a darker tone due to him playing Gore, and then learning this was gonna release on my birthday probably didn't help. I was a dumbass 14-year-old straight teenage boy who would have watched just any cool looking action blockbuster. And even with the, at this point, gradual decline of quality in the MCU, I thought this would be the one film that would actually bring it out of its drought. Like, it's Taika Waititi, guys, right? I was hyped, counting the days till it released. Then my birthday came up, happy birthday to me, and I sat down, watched it, and I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah, it was a great movie. The movie sucked, but I really clinged onto the good parts. That's right, I had Stockholm, so you know the term shave, I've mentioned shave 2 times in this movie. You know the term Schaefer used that he copied from someone else, Phantom Menacing, where you convince yourself a hyped up movie is good even if it sucked? I did that. Even with people saying it's fucking ass, it has terrible comedy, the screaming goat, I was still like, guys, it's not like that bad. However, after the discourse of the film kind of died down and I thought back on it, yeah, it sucks. Those good parts were overshadowed by everything, mostly the bad humor, distracting from the story, atrocious CGI, and dreadful writing. I became not even its biggest fan, just a supporter, to one of its biggest haters, and now I can declare Thor Love and Thunder probably my most disappointing film I've ever seen. Anyways, after my hour-long sad backstory about this movie, let's actually move on. This movie does begin with an excellent scene with our villain Gore grieving his dying daughter, which is just tremendously dark and tragic. However, this is meant to lead you into a false sense of security, as this is actually a terrible setting for the tone and quality. It is way too good for this film. And it's a shame Christian Bale did such a great performance for this. Actually, all the actors did, but Bale really went all out for his first MCU film. And Gore is never shown to be an actual threat. Like, you're telling me this skinny ass guy could kill hundreds of gods? Like, really? Here's the thing with the comedy, it's obviously subjective, and for me, I found some of it actually funny, but the hit rate of this movie is way worse compared to Ragnarok, where every joke hit.
I have been falling for 30 minutes!
Meanwhile, this film is just some really lackluster comedy, and it also deters from the actual dramatic tone and dark themes of the film. It works better for Ragnarok as it's just a fun sci-fi space adventure, and even then it took its time for like Odin's death or the relationship between Loki and Thor. Like the homoerotic tension between Thor and Star-Lord is undermined due to the comedy, and like what's the point of having Thor join the Guardians if it doesn't go anywhere? Speaking of, Thor is just a plain dumbass. Previously, most of his himbo idiocy came from just being a fish out of water character rather than actually being stupid. There's just a constant running joke about him talking to Stormbreaker as if he's like his girlfriend or something, and it's just so stupid. Like, why are you talking to an inanimate object? I don't get that. I think they tried writing Thor as a lost, broken person and trying to hide that fact to everyone around the world, and they tried to do the same with Jane, but I think Jane's works better, but even then they don't never develop it in like a compelling way, probably mostly due to the comedy and tone. I would have preferred the theme of love and loss / grief as our main protagonist Thor, Jane, and our main villain Gore are grieving. Thor has lost everything, Jane has stage 4 cancer, and Gore has lost his daughter. What even accent is that? Daughter. And the film should have focused on Thor's grief instead of just being a bumbling idiot all the time. Give him like a Logan-like film and Gore would have been like perfect for that. However, the art direction looks so good, except for Thor's outfit that he wears for most of the movie. Why couldn't he have these two ones? They look so much better. This is what happens when you allow artists to actually cook, okay? Like, look at the shadow world. It's so visually amazing. Being a desaturated world with no color, and yet the use of color to illuminate from the weapons and effects are amazing. Oh god damn it, it also has an endless ocean location. Fuck you. I love when they do this. Don't appeal to me, okay? I'm not supposed to like this movie. Also, Gore needs Stormbreaker to access the eternal thing, I figure. So he forces Thor to summon Stormbreaker, but there's clearly time for him to throw away Stormbreaker again after he destroys this like tent thing. Why don't you do exactly what Jane did and just throw it away? Also, if the characters know Gore is going to the eternal plane before the shadow world, why don't they just stop at the eternal place or whatever? Thor and Jane can easily go there. Why not just go there and then just stop him there? I don't get this movie. This movie has so many missed opportunities in the writing, although it's not the worst, just not good at all. So like 3.5 out of 10. That may seem pretty high, and yes, I am getting medical help for my Stockholm syndrome, but this isn't the worst movie. Just very disappointing. On to the last and best film in this list. This whole marathon has really not been that great. But the only thing I've been looking forward to is watching this film, as Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is a banger. Well, I guess now it's called Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, just without the Part 1, because Final Reckoning isn't called like Final Reckoning Part 2 or Dead Reckoning Part 2. For context, Mission Impossible is basically my favorite film franchise, and I think most of the Mission Impossible films are bangers. Some of these are absolute favorites, and Fallout is my favorite action film. So I guess you can call me a fan. Now, Fallout is better, but by no means does it make this one bad at all. And when I'm writing this, I have just watched Part 2, aka The Final Reckoning, so I can now see if this actually holds up as a Part 1. I love Christopher McQuarrie's use of different direction for each of his films, as the Mission Impossible films have a unique director for every single one up till Rogue Nation. This film in particular, he uses many Dutch tilts, harkening back to De Palma's style in the first movie. Also, since Mission Impossible was like a 60s TV show before the films, not only is the classic Mission Impossible theme used, obviously, also the leitmotif here is used a lot in this film. It was used in other Mission Impossible films, but I feel like they used it a lot in this one. I don't know how to feel about that, as I feel like it's played too much in my opinion. I think the classic Mission Impossible film is great for building up dramatic scenes. However, this still gets used so much, it kind of gets exhausting. And of course, the action-inspired espionage is beautifully intense. Each action set piece is exhilarating and always fun. The way each new variable added amps up the stakes is just amazing. The opening and exciting beginning set piece that helps introduce our character Grace. The car chase in Rome is really fun, and the handcuff gimmick gives really fun scenarios. I also like the fact that Mission Impossible and Fast X coincidentally had car chases down the stairs of Rome in the same year. I'm 90% sure that Mission Impossible couldn't film there for a while because of Fast X, and they were recording there too, so that just shows you, like, everyone liked car chases down Rome, I guess. And the train chase is one of my favorite climaxes in any film. The train set piece, I've said before, is something I absolutely love personally. And the big stunt with Tom Cruise driving a motorcycle off a cliff is so exhilarating knowing that it's real. Seeing that in theaters was legitimately so amazing to see. And the part where the train is slowly falling down, I just said, fucking turns me on. I love when they have to climb up it. That's amazing. As much as I'm glazing this film, I will say, now watching Final Reckoning, there are unfortunately parts that are now worsened due to Part 2, then improved. I think that makes the overall package lesser, but I try not to think about it and just think of this as a singular complete film. Also, spoilers for Final Reckoning, okay, skip here to avoid. Examples such as the extended background backstory for Ethan. It just seems unnecessary and useless. We probably thought this was gonna be better developed, but now we just learned that it's just in the first part mostly. Also, this guy being Jim Phelps' son, in my opinion, should have just been revealed in this movie, as it would have served a better revenge plotline rather than just being a shocking reveal of sorts. I do like how Angela Bassett is the president in the background here, showing some foreshadowing. Also, she's running better than the current president. And lastly, I'm also the fall of Final Reckoning, but Greg Davis's character should have been developed more to keep him more interesting and relevant. He literally has a line where he's like, "Oh, I have nothing to do, I'll hang around here." That's like, really? This is just one of my favorite casts. Ving Rhames continued to be the heart of the Mission Impossible series. Simon Pegg is always as hilarious as he's ever been.
How do we always end up in these situations?
Hayley Atwell, though I have some issues with her, does have a great performance and is great in general. Rebecca Ferguson continues a great story and ends it. And Pom Klementieff has such a fun character and gives such a great redemption arc. Although Rebecca Ferguson's character is just a clear and bad example of fridging. I think it's due to the large cast in the next film, so they wanted to cut the bloat, I guess. But Hayley Atwell, though I love her character, felt too similar to it and perhaps just should have cut her out entirely. And then you could have cut out Greg Davis's character as well, as he's just somewhat useless. So cutting out these characters would have made Rebecca flourish more. I also hate the fact that they never mentioned her in the next film. It's just quite disappointing, honestly. But besides from that, it's basically a near perfect movie. 9.5 out of 10. I love it. Also, I know I've been shitting on Final Reckoning like this whole review, but like, it's still really good. It's like a genuine like must watch in theaters experience sort of film. 7.5 out of 10. And the train chase is okay. And the train chase is the train chase, okay. And Ryan, okay. Get it right, okay. Train chase, okay. And the train trace is one of my saying that fast is really difficult, okay. So I realized that the films I praised in this list are just spy films, and to be fair, I do actually love spy films. It's like my favorite genre. So movie producers, make a fun spy film on my birthday. Thanks guys, I know you're watching this video, all of you. Also, don't make talking animal films on my birthday either. They are really bad. So probably the worst birthday gift I could have given myself.